What's up, everybody? Turn this down a little bit. So, you know, well, first and foremost, you already know who it is, target individual CJBK. And, you know, I'm in a very interesting position right now. Because, okay, now that I actually have an idea of what TIs go through just from them sharing their experiences online, them talking about what they go through and how, the gang stalkers, they basically sabotage their life and how they basically prevent them from gaining access to certain things and or how they basically, try to use as much of the technology to try to cause enough damage to to the person's, to the TI's, body or their brain, so that they won't be able to, you know, function normally, or they won't be able to, you know, do certain things. And all day today, for the most part, especially since I've been home, I've been receiving a lot more attacks on my, on my head. They're always attacking the left knee. That's a given. And and I keep paying attention to my body, and what my body feels. And one thing I know for certain is that we, as human beings, as spiritual beings, we produce an electromagnetic field, ourselves. And it basically, probably starts as high as about like up here, and then it goes all around the body like a big, like a circle. Like it's an aura of energy. And then when you think about what they're doing with the technology is basically, they're using it's like near infrared sensors. It finds your energy and it basically locks onto your energy. So it it locks onto your energy no matter where you're at. All right? And then from a quantum level, it takes the charged particles around your aura, your energy, and then they basically use these, very finely, close-knit. I like how all of a sudden, as I start to talk about it, that's when the music stops, because I didn't turn around to turn it off, and all of a sudden, look, it's buffering. And I've had this thing playing for how long? 25 minutes and 59 seconds. But the moment I start recording this video, that's when it buffers. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let God guide me on this one. Earlier today, I watched, a TI that I met through Facebook. She's tagged me in this video about Joe Biden's, son. What I don't even remember his name. I don't want to say the wrong name. But his son, who's being, I guess, investigated about his laptop and then certain dealings and whatnot. And it was like an assistant director for the FBI of cyber or something, FBI cyber, something like that. And he's basically trying to pass the buck. He's like saying, I'm not responsible for anything that's dealing with that laptop, whatever the case may be. And I'm thinking to myself, This is interesting. And then, the guy who's, grilling the FBI guy, he's like, you know, isn't this doesn't this laptop, put the country at risk? His Joe's son, President Biden's son, was doing all these dealings and traveling the world, while he was vice president at the time and making all these connections and da da da. And I'm thinking to myself, this should get really interesting, right? And then it dawns on me. I'm like, wait, this is just crumbs. This is just crumbs because he's talking about national security, the threat of national security based off of what's on Joe Biden's son's laptop. So you telling me none of these politicians, or the majority of these politicians who's supposed to be, doing all this fighting and trying to, clear the swamp, or drain the swamp, or whatever they want to say. They trying to see if they can get rid of people who are, immoral and things of that sort. You telling me they don't know about the usage of, highly advanced technology that basically takes a person's, takes a person's energy, or from based on this one press conference I seen about this guy explaining some things about what Darpa is doing. Darpa has this technology where it can basically take the DNA of a person, and something about the technology basically can find that person through that person's DNA, and then they can basically transmit energy that can transmit or transfer energy to that specific person that can kill that person. So you're telling me none of this none of this, or maybe they don't think it's being used on U.S. citizens, which is mind-boggling. But I mean, I'm gonna just go ahead and let that be what it is. If some of these politicians really don't know, then I mean, we got to do more on exposing as much as we can. Then I'm also thinking okay, they don't realize, they probably have no idea, their mind in itself is being recorded, probably live streamed for an audience. Their optic nerve, everything that they see is basically being transmitted to a cloud server where hundreds or thousands or millions of people can view that person's life through their eyes. I mean, Steve Hoffman, the CEO of was it Squarespace? I think it was called Squarespace. He actually even talked about this type of technology back in 2018 during a TED Talk he had in Tokyo. I believe it was in Tokyo. And so I'm just thinking to myself, so you want to talk about threat to national security? Every single person's mind is being read and recorded. Information that could be top secret is being extracted from people's minds without them ever truly knowing. So you're telling me none of them know about this? None of them know about it. Or either they don't know about it, or they don't want to actually go after who's conducting that. Why? Because, your life can be threatened. And they're like, yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. Everyone is afraid of dying, but they want freedom. Everyone is afraid of dying, but they want freedom. No one is willing to risk their life for freedom anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to incriminate myself. They're gonna have to set me up. They're gonna have to. And I don't do anything but really come home, go to work, and I'll probably hang out from time to time, but I don't do anything felonious. So basically, you're telling me all these politicians who own cell phones, they got laptops, they probably got an iWatch, and they probably got all these different types of devices in their homes, Wi-Fi, all kinds of things. They have no idea that everything that they see, hear, and think is being extracted from their brain in real time and then decoded through a brain-computer interface. And then whoever is monitoring this system, this nefarious group of people, they're basically taking that information and possibly selling it off to God knows who. And basically, like, when you really think about it, you want to talk about a threat to national security? I mean, there are active military personnel who are blowing the whistle on this technology, on, directed energy weapons being used against them by their own comrades. There are former NSA, CIA, FBI, who are all talking about this technology that's, been perfected, that basically reads the mind of people, or not even necessarily reads the mind, but it literally, when you think of something, there is a near infrared laser that is connected to your mind, and then the moment an electrical impulse of a thought basically, is created, the energy of that thought, or that brainwave activity, is then recorded by this, recorded and then, up converted, by, through this this near infrared laser that basically takes that information, brings it up into a cloud server, where then it's ran or processed through a brain computer interface, and then next thing you know, they can basically see your thought as if it was a video. If you think of a word, they can see the word. If you think of a picture, they can see the picture. If you think of a past memory, they can see that too. But they don't want to believe, they want to talk about this laptop. But people have been asking for help on, directed energy weapons and the use of these very highly sophisticated frequency resonating devices for decades. I mean, MK Ultra ended when, and then all of a sudden it got rebranded, changed the name, So I'm just like, okay. And then now it's like, it would make sense if they were using this technology against, people who were, actually breaking the law, people who were actually doing destructive things. And you know what? It makes me wonder even more, because the handlers who hacked me, they don't give me the impression that they, are good people at all, honestly. But no, that's not what I really wanted to say. They don't give me the impression that they are only military. They don't give me the impression that they're, just like, dark web, hackers who just came across some Nikola Tesla, information, or whatever the case may be. They don't give me that impression at all. They claim they're a secret society. Okay, great, you're a secret society. Now I know there's some Luciferian stuff tied to it. Because I mean, what secret society isn't somehow tied into Luciferianism or Satanism? Honestly, it's a secret society. If it has to be a secret, it probably should. It probably shouldn't even. It's not good for you. If it has to be a secret, it's not good for you. You know, anything that's a secret usually is something that's spelling out to eventually be something that can hurt you when you least expect it, or be something that can be so catastrophically damaging that it not just only hurts you once it's exposed, but it hurts several people in the process. And you know what? Besides the fact that they've been focusing a ton of frequencies, and I can literally take my hand, palm facing outwards, and I can move it in certain directions. And when I move it over specific areas, especially coming over my right side, like almost like it's aiming towards the right frontal lobe, and then it kind of it's kind of almost all over, but it's there are specific points where there are heat spots about this big. About like that big. There are specific points on the brain that feel like they're being, damn, like attacked the most. You know, and then it's like when I use my chi, or the electromagnetic energy that my body produces from my hands, and I try to pull out that energy that they're using, I can get most of it, but obviously they have me connected, so it's like it doesn't matter. Because I'm connected, they basically can just refocus it on you. Now, I've always been thinking about this idea of like, if I had an EMP, would that make a difference? Because if I had an EMP, could it actually make a difference? But I think maybe not. Like, I honestly think the only way truly to break and destroy this entire system that they have with this technology is you got to go after the satellites. Because the satellites is what encase the earth in digital, frequencies and visualization. So, yeah, that's just me in general. I'm not trying to incite anything. I'm just saying there are several hundreds, thousands, or large populations of people, not just in the United States, but across the world, that are being attacked and killed and sabotaged, having their lives sabotaged by these nefarious groups of basically people who probably sucked at making life choices, and then someone gave them an opportunity to basically redeem themselves. And it's not necessarily redeeming themselves, but it's more like it's like rewarding them for bad behavior. And when I think about it, I'm just like, they want to call themselves a secret society, but it's like, nah, you're worse than that. But a secret society in itself is just, they're basically well-trained killers. They're no different from the killers that you will find out here on the streets. They're no different. It's just that they do theirs in secrecy. When regular killers, you at least see where your attack is coming from most of the time. So it's like, Like I said, I'm not inciting anything. I'm just pointing out the obvious that, you know, these politicians, that claim that they're trying to do the most for, the American public, protect the American public, and things of that sort. I'm just like, unless you are willing to understand that, they guns, guns, bombs, what else? Guns, bombs, and drugs. Those are literally like, and I can say this with all confidence. Those are not the most scariest things that people are worried about or should be worried about. Not even the virus itself, because when you understand this technology, the technology basically is the source to everything else. The technology in itself is the source to everything else. The technology in itself, can be sourced as the not the well basically the producer of all of these you know products, these byproducts. When you talk about people who mysteriously don't know what's happening. Well, I don't know. Cause right now I got like a bunch of frequencies on my head, and it's making it hard for me to remember what I'm saying. But it's also like giving me a headache. But still, I don't let it stop me from doing anything. I just remember whenever I'm like feeling, oh, it started up again. That means somebody must have got some help, and then now they're about to do something else. Oh, wait, nope, there it go. Yeah. So technically what I believe is happening is because it's working like that, there's a device somewhere near my room that's basically focusing a lot of that's basically jamming signals and whatnot. Let me see.